Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia and welcome back to the 5-part series covering the skill tree of generic characters in the game. This video is the final part and will be covering everyone's favorite class, Strategists. If you missed any of the previous parts covering the other 4 classes, please don't forget to go back and check those out. Now let's jump straight into the skill tree. All generic strategists will have the same skill tree as the one shown here. You always start with one of these 3 active or passive abilities at level 1 and an additional skill that is linked by the lines to your starting skill. After that, you will gain a new skill point with each level up, and you can unlock any new skill as long as they're connected to existing ones. Since your character build will always be anchored by which of these 3 active or passive abilities you start with, we will start the guide by focusing on these 3 skills. In the order they appear on the skill tree, we have Wisdom of the River, Stifling Deluge, and Inspiring Surge. Now, Wisdom of the River is an active debuff skill that you can activate to reduce the melee evasion and the armors of enemy units around you by 100% within a 50-meter range for a 30-second duration. This is a strong debuff, and the only active ability your strategist has. It has a long cooldown of 120 seconds, and you can use this when the enemies collide with your front line, so that your front line can go to work on them by reducing their melee evasion and armor basically to 0. You can also run your strategist near your dueling generals to reduce the enemy general's melee evasion and armor so that your general can have an easier time in the duel. Next, we have Stifling Deluge. Stifling Deluge is a passive debuff ability. It increases the cooldown of enemy abilities by 5 seconds to all enemy generals within a 50-meter range of your strategist. This debuff has a duration of 1 second and a cooldown of 4 seconds, which essentially means every 5 seconds the enemy's ability will enter a 5-second cooldown, meaning they'll never get to use their ability as long as you keep your strategist near them. This is best used when you run your strategist to a duel that your other general is having. Therefore, you lock the enemy general from using any ability, thus making your general having an easier time to win that duel. Lastly, we have Inspiring Surge, which is another passive ability. This time, it provides a buff to your own general. This creates a decrease in cooldown of your own ability by 2 seconds for all generals within 50 meter. The duration is 1 second and the cooldown is 1 second. So it essentially halves your cooldown because every 2 seconds you gain another 2 seconds less. So you're essentially running half the cooldown you normally have. This is great in all situations, whether you're using it on the battlefield for a boost with your other generals or when your other generals are in duels. The more often you can use your ability, the better it is. Now that we have discussed these 3 active and passive abilities, let's continue by looking at the 6 skills attached to them as shown here. Now, these 6 skills are all cunning skills in that they provide only cunning stats. The 2 skills in the middle are also strategist unique skills, while the other 4 skills you can find in other classes. Once again, in the order that they appear on the skill tree, these 6 skills are Composure, Scholarship, Resourcefulness, Judgment, Guile, and Wisdom. Let's dig into these. Composure enables fire arrows and night battles. Fire arrows are for your own retinue. This is only available for bow infantry units. You can't have this on crossbowmen. Not just infantry units. You can have this on bow horsemen. The requirement is that you use a bow and not a crossbow. Night battles is very useful in that they enable your army to prevent enemy reinforcement, reduce enemy morale, as well as their line of sight. Next, we have Scholarship, which provides a 10% character experience for all characters in this army. This obviously is just a passive buff to gaining experience and gaining level. It also provides 40% increase to income from commerce, silk, and spice if the strategist is administrator of a commandery. Next, we have resourcefulness. This enables flaming shot for your own retinue and provides 10 military supply in enemy territory for your own army. The flaming shot is different from the flaming fire arrow. Flaming shot is for trebuchets, which is a unique unit that only strategists could recruit. Next, we have judgment, which increases 25% range damage for own retinue, as well as provide one additional trade agreement if the character is prime minister, heir, or faction leader. Since the strategist's retinue units are all range unit, this buff is great to synergize with all sorts of unit that the strategist can recruit. Next, we have Guile. Guile enables guerrilla deployment for own retinue. Guerrilla deployment enable you to place your unit anywhere on the map as long as they're not near the enemy deployment zone. This usually you're restricted to deploy within your own deployment zone. With enable guerrilla deployment, you can place them anywhere. This is best used to stop enemy reinforcement or to focus fire on enemy reinforcement before they enter the map. Guile also provides 25% chance of ambushing for your whole army. This is most useful when you're trying to create ambush opportunities on the campaign map. Lastly, we have Wisdom. Wisdom unlocks the assignment Reward the Filial and Incorrupt, as well as provide 15 points of reserve when you're the administrator of a commandery. Reward the Filial and Incorrupt is a very strong assignment in that it not only fights corruption, it also provides a little bit of boost to your commandery's income. Now that we talked about all these cunning skills, let's turn our focus to the other 6 skills on the strategist skill tree. These 6 skills are precision, perception, intuition, patience, reach, and abundance. As you can see from the color code and the stats being boosted, these are skills taken from other classes. Precision and intuition provide expertise, so they're sentinel skills. Patience and abundance provide resolve, so they're champion skills. Perception is a commander skill, and reach is a vanguard skill. If you have seen any previous part of this series, you know what's up. But you haven't, please know that every class has 3 active and passive skills, 6 skills focus on their primary stat, and 6 skills borrow from other classes. We will not be discussing these skills here in great detail as we did for the 6 cunning skills earlier, because we have already done so in the earlier parts of this series. So instead, we will take a more detailed look at all the different buffs a strategist can receive from all their skills, sorted by different roles. Here I have listed all the buffs strategists can receive as a commanding officer in the army, as the leader, heir, or prime minister, as administrator of a commandery, and others, which include items like enabling abilities, own army boost, own retinue boost, or just buffs to the strategist himself. Strategist has a unique role in the game in that they enable formations based on their level for all non-militia tier units. They also are the only unit that could recruit trebuchets. So essentially every army is forced to have a strategist. Therefore, using your strategist as a general is the most basic function of the strategist. Here I have highlighted all the skills that they bring to the battlefield, as well as provided a full built strategist skill tree for your reference. Alternatively, strategists can also be great administrators. They provide food, percentage buff to income in industry, and income in commerce, which allow you to take advantage of the most common combination of commandery building style, where you combine industry and commerce income together, and the food production can help you build higher level tier settlements so that you can have more building slot to boost your economy farther. I have attached a skill tree with the relevant skills for this build Overall, strategists are just a must-have for you in the game. Trebuchets are game-changing. If you need to know more about trebuchets, please go check out my battlefield tutorials. The range unit review covers a lot of this. And thank you guys for watching this whole series. I had a blast making it this week. I hope you find these guides helpful. And if you enjoy the video, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment below to support the channel. This is the last part of this series, so we'll be taking a break from talking about generic generals, and we'll start something new next week. Bye!